Call the meeting to order and call Councilman Watson, lead us in the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the roll.
Councilwoman Brown.
Here.
Councilman Weaver.
Here.
Councilman Broughton.
Here.
Councilman Watson.
Here.
Councilman Barton.
Here.
And Mayor Lovett.
Here.
We have a quorum for business.
Approval of the minutes from the February 13th meeting.
May I offer motion to approve the minutes?
Second.
Second by Councilman Broughton.
Did somebody second?
Yes, Councilman Broughton.
Okay.
Too fast for you.
We have a motion by Councilman Watson, second by Councilman Broughton to approve the minutes of the February 13th meeting. Is there any discussion, changes, additions, or deletions? Hearing none. Councilwoman Brown?
Yes.
Councilman Weaver?
Yes.
Councilman Broughton?
Yes.
Councilman Watson?
Yes.
Councilman Barton?
Yes.
The motion passes and the minutes are approved.
I'd like to welcome a visitor. I see several people here that I don't see very often. I'm glad y'all are here. Miss Hampton's in the hospital.
Yeah, Birmingham. Yeah.
Okay.
I will tell you about that too.
Approval of the agenda.
Are there any additions or deletions? Okay, we'll entertain
Those in favor?
well, if there are none, if there are no additions or deletions, then please, all those in favor of approving the agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and the agenda is approved.
Next item is actual numbered resolution for the public hearing that we approved at the last meeting, authorizing a public hearing on Carlisa's Inc., Drexel and Honeybees Community Restaurant. And the date of that is
The public hearing would be the
March 13th?
13th, yes. There will be a notice published on Wednesday.
Last year.
And just to let y'all know, then, you know, the notice will say this, but you've got a up to a $20,000 request for a grant, and it will be to Carlisa, Drexel Honeybees Community Restaurant. They will be serving home-style meals there on a donation basis. There won't be any required donation for those meals.
This will be under section 94.
Under section 94.
.1, serve a public purpose.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's been notified that we're going to do a public hearing on the 13th of March.
She does, I
She knows
believe
it?
she does that.
Okay.
yes.
And we need a motion on this.
Make a motion to approve resolution 17-0213-6.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Broughton, second by Councilman Barton, to approve the public hearing for Drexel and Honeybees on the 13th of March. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Councilwoman Brown?
Yes.
Councilman Weaver?
Yes.
Councilman Broughton?
Yes.
Councilman Watson?
Yes.
Councilman Barton?
Yes.
The motion passes and the public hearing is approved.
And a new business, first item is approval of a public hearing for the public purpose grant for Brewton Barista LLC, which is the new coffee shop that has been under construction or a remodeling of the old Shell station building by the park.
They are planning to be open by late this week,
Okay.
the first, or at least by the weekend. We already have a lease agreement with them. So we've been through the public hearing process on that. part of it. Back in June, I believe it was, but what was granted to them at the time was a lease subsidy or a rent subsidy. The regular rent is $400, but they will be paying, it was approved for them to pay $100 a month for the first 6 months of their operation after the construction period was completed. What we will be requesting here with the new grant will be to extend that subsidy through grant for another 30 months, which would be the full 36-month lease. And in reductions over that period of time would be a total of $10,800.
And that public hearing is set for March the 13th,
March 13th.
after publication.
That's correct.
Okay, I offer motion to approve resolution number 17-0227.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Watson, second by Councilman Barton, to approve the public hearing for Brewton Barista. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Councilwoman Brown,
Yes.
Councilman Weaver,
Yes.
Councilman Broughton,
Yes.
Councilman Watson,
Yes.
Councilman Barton.
Yes.
Motion passes and the public hearing is approved.
Next item is approval of the closure of the Dogwood Hill golf portion of the golf course. And been asked to give a little explanation to that. The city has owned this golf course approximately 20 years, and over that time, the losses that the city had incurred have been, I would refer to them as massive. And the water department has also put in $750,000 on that piece of property. The revenue over the last few years has dropped basically 50%. It's dropped from $200,000 down to $100,000. The number of players that utilize that course on a regular basis that live inside the city limits is 17 people. If we take everybody that plays the course inside the city limits, at some time during the year, it would probably be less than 50. We have about another 23 people that play that course on a regular basis that live somewhere else, not inside the city limits. To make certain that these golfers are not impacted, we contacted the other golf course, and those contracts, we have memberships in Dogwood Hill. People that have those memberships, they will be honored at the rate, same rate they were paying our golf course, they'll pay up there. Same rate they were paying on golf cart rentals, they'll pay the same rate up there. And recently, that other golf course was ranked the number 3 golf course in Alabama, so it's not, we're sending them to a very good golf course. We then run into a number of questions about, well, what about the property itself? What's the plans for the property? Well, I, like a lot of people, grew up on that golf course and in that swimming pool that's no longer there and other things. I personally, my daddy tells me that he was one of the people that helped plant the trees there. I personally like the view as I drive up and down Highway 31. There's no plan to change that. There's no plan to change the landscape. There's no plan to change the maintenance schedules or anything that the public would see on that area. There are, and I'm going to show them in a minute, a number of conceptual drawings of what you could do with that property. But at the moment, none of our conceptual drawings are economically feasible. But with the kind of savings that we are anticipating, which would be, we think, more than $200,000 a year savings, that some of the people that questions, requests we get from people, such as a swimming pool and other things, you're now able to study them more deeply to see if, in fact, that really is what the people want. Does it make sense to build it? And then You also have to understand where to build it. But it gives you more options. We were talking about earlier today about the fastest growing sport in Alabama is archery. Your city council funded in the middle school this year archery with the idea when those kids get to high school that we will fund courses in archery there. I'm surprised, to be honest with you, the recent archery tournament they had in Foley had 2,200 participants. It's amazing how fast that sport is growing. You could take any of those back holes that really you can't see from the street and put archery courses there. We already have at E.O. Wilson an archery course there. That's just one idea. In the past, you would have liked to have been able to fish in that pond. Well, I don't know what that pond's like, but if you think about all the fertilizer that's probably washed in there from fertilizing those greens, we probably need to clean that pond, but you would like to be able to offer the residents the opportunity to fish there. There's really no public recreational areas on that end of town. A walking trail would certainly be feasible around that property. But at the moment, there's nothing really on the drawing table that would tell you that, well, next week or next month or a year from now, this is going to change or that's going to change. It's just the younger generation has not embraced golf. It's a declining sport all across the United States, and that's just a fact. And my generation started playing golf when we were young, but that's just not true in today's world. But to show you a couple of the conceptual drawings, that's where the existing tennis courts, clubhouse is right there. You would leave the property, that's Highway 31, and you reroute, those are those apartments on Old Castleberry Road. Well, that's a baseball complex. Now, you don't really need one this size. But if you said if you had, what would you do with that property? You could do that, you could enlarge the pond, there's a walking trail, there's an archery course. It's just an idea on something you could do out there, whether you had a men's softball thing or a softball league fields there or something like that. You know, obviously you could look into that. You can say, well, why don't we just sell the property? You know, subdivide it and sell homes in it. Well, I don't know about y'all, but I think it'd take a good long time to sell that many houses. So, but that's a concession that you could. You say if Brewton was, I don't know, Baldwin County at the rate they're growing, yeah, you could sell houses. I don't see that ever happening here at this piece of property, but that's a drawing. We had all those public meetings about splash pad swimming pools, all that stuff. You know, if you remember this, that was a $4.5 million project. It only lost about $400,000 a year, and you know, not really feasible for a town of 5,000. But a smaller swimming pool type thing, like Ock just put in one, it cost $600,000, is feasible if that's what the citizens want somewhere. You know, whether you put it back where the old one used to be, or you put it behind the clubhouse, or you put it somewhere out there, you know, you could do that kind of stuff there. But that's just three concepts, if you will. We've been looking at this since 2012 on a pretty regular basis, and so at the moment, the plan would be to basically leave it like it is, add a walking trail, clean the pond up, and for right now, that's all we would change there. So we have a resolution to close the golf course portion of Dogwood Hills.
I make a motion to approve Resolution 17-0227-1.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Barton, second by Councilman Watson, to close the golf course at Dogwood Hills. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Councilwoman Brown,
No.
Councilman Weaver,
Yes.
Councilman Broughton,
Yes.
Councilman Watson,
Yes.
Councilman Barton.
Yes.
The motion passes, and the closure is approved by majority.
Call on Lawton Ship.
Mayor and council, this particular property on St. Nicholas Avenue, 1114, St. Nicholas, just give you a little brief history. Of course, I'm sure everybody's aware of where it is. It's the worst piece of, the house has been partially demoed, and it's still, looks like it'll fall in today. But I started working on it a couple of years ago, actually, and I sent the first certified letter May the 27th. Actually, I actually mailed it first. It came back to me. I went to the guy that was next door, and was the name on the property owner. Anyway, I mailed it. Came back, went over there and hand-delivered it to him. He signed the card on the 27th May of 2015. So anyway, in the meantime, since then, I've been talking to him about getting the fire department to burn it and stuff like that. He was in cooperation with getting it to do that or tear it down. And so time went on, and then so December of last year, I mailed the second certified mail on advice of our council, and had everything posted like you're supposed to and everything, and have not been able to make contact with the man next door like I did before. And since then, the house has been, the guy across the street actually has been taking it, burning the wood in his fireplace. And so it's gotten to the point that it's really just a shell. Everything out is gone inside of it, and it's really become a hazard now. And if children or somebody was to go in it and start playing around, it could fall, kill somebody. So it's really a hazard. And even with the signs posted to keep out, it's still, you know how kids are. So anyway, I recommend that everything has been done on the house, and fire department, we've gotten together, myself and Chief Salter, and agreed that it can easily be done. The city would have to push it into a pile, basically burn it now since the condition it is, and just need a recommendation from the council.
I have a motion to approve the demolition of the house at 1114 St. Nicholas.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Watson, second by Councilman Broughton, to approve the demolition of the house at 1114 St. Nicholas Avenue. Is there any discussion?
Now, Mr. Chip, after this one, you're going to take off, right? Okay?
I've actually got two I delivered today.
Okay.
We'll do title opinions on, and I've got several others as well that we can get
Okay.
going on.
Thank you, sir.
Is there any further discussion?
Thank you, Lord.
Hearing none. Councilwoman Brown?
Yes.
Councilman Weaver?
Yes.
Councilman Broughton?
Yes.
Councilman Watson?
Yes.
Councilman Barton?
Yes.
Motion passes, and the demolition is approved.
I've also been asked by the council to, under the announcement portion, to give a little more detailed description of the two buildings we just leased downtown. The first thing you might ask on a situation is, well, if you're going to spend money, why not just buy the buildings? Well, the first thing what we're trying to do down there, we hope will work, but the cost to renovate that they're spending on that building, which is a lot of money, it's better spent. We have, I guess you'd say, 10 one-year options to renew our lease there, that we felt it better for us not to expend the money to buy those two buildings and then spend I don't know exactly how much they're spending, but I'm guessing they're spending a couple of $100,000, I really don't know that number, to renovate those buildings, and have that much money tied up with simply a hope that this works out. Now, what's planned for that, as you know, in that end building, which I would call the old bus station, other people would call it the old crack pot, that's where the Chamber of Commerce will be. It'll be large enough then for them to hold after business hours meetings there. They'll have a large conference room in there. They'll have handicapped bathrooms, so if the public needs to use them, that will be there. The second building will be a merchant's market. Be up to 24 merchants there. They will be paying rent also. The Chamber will help to manage that on a contract for services basis. So at the end of the day, our expectation is that although the rent for those two buildings is $5,000, the cost to the city should be close to rent neutral. And if that's the case, then that's a win-win for the city and the merchants. We hope to have the products that we are trying to, the vendors that we are trying to solicit to be in there are Alabama-only made products, in which, as we expand the advertising for the city, that allows, one, you should have more people come to your town because people like to buy homemade type items. And it also gives these vendors in our area a place on a regular basis to sell. And so it should be a good thing for Brewton. As you know, the city has been working very hard through various ways to keep downtown viable, alive, and because downtown is what I think of is Brewton. That's what my vision of Brewton is downtown. We all know the challenges of downtown. We're in a flood zone, it's industrial area, we have a railroad track, it's not as easy. We just met with the highway department not 2 weeks ago. We're going to reopen the road beside what I would refer to as the old Robin McGowan building so that you can have traffic back in there for the Purple Paisley and for the Mexican restaurant and for Antigone's and those businesses in there. We're going to redevelop that parking lot there, pave it, stripe it, to try to get people on that side of the track and help those businesses stay in business. It's just a challenge, and we're doing our dead level best to continue to promote downtown Brewton and to buy local. And but you have to give people a reason to buy local, and we hope with this merchants market that will be a good reason. We hope with the chamber there, the visitors will be able to pick up pamphlets. We'll have local items on display in the chamber office. The chamber will have a lot more options to interact with the public there. And so we hope that would be good for the chamber and good for the citizens. So hopefully that's a little more explanation than we gave last time. We've been working on that one for a good long while. Are there any other announcements or comments?
I have none.
Make a motion to adjourn.